easy as 1, 2, 3. Finding a company that excels in electrical, plumbing, AC installation and repairs, painting and much more. SAS Electrical is here for you, giving you excellent service, great rates, timely completion. Contact SAS Electrical at 709-9215 or 359-1014. Call us today. SAS Electrical. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. GLS 103.5 out of Tobago.
In your face, all over the place. We're online. You're listening to the hottest internet station
in the Caribbean. GLS
103.5
out of Tobago. Buckle up those seatbelts. No drinking and driving. No overtaking on the shoulders. No texting and driving. Your family awaits you at home. Drive to arrive alive. A message from GLS 103.5.
I'd like to say good afternoon to all our loyal listeners. Welcome to GLS 103.5 online radio, where we broadcast live out of the sister isle of Tobago. This afternoon, we are here once again to bring you issues, the topic that not only Tobago, that the issues and topic right around the sister isle of Tobago and, matter of fact, worldwide, where you will be taught, where you will be educated. Right? Our program is an educated program where we are teaching, training you how to deal with certain issues as it arrives. I'd like to say good afternoon to Joanne Nori. Good afternoon to Wendy Ann, the Woods family out there. Good afternoon to you guys. Where you broadcasting from? I know we have Joanne Nori. It's from the sister isle of Tobago. And how you guys going? All right. This afternoon we have Mr. Chaz, the man who is going to bring you all the details, update you to be educated in situation that actually arrive. All right. Questions, and don't forget you can pop in your question. You can actually join us here this afternoon as we broadcast out of the sister isle to you. All right, so invite a friend to tell a friend more about what GLS have to offer. All right, so as we take you in with the music at this time, just tune in with us and stay locked in.
This is an SOS from the Trinidad. Location, 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, SOS, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Help! Help! The Trinidad, a luxury liner, sailing the Caribbean Sea with an old captain named Eric Williams. But yes, sail smooth and free. But sadly, Eric Williams passed away. The ship hit rough water that day. Someone turned the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I sail a ball. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa.
Hey, Crystal. Good afternoon to you. Mr. Charles say, hey, he got to give you a call, baby. You know, definitely a man like him always inside of something. It's now 5:32 right here.
Oh, she was a beauty with wealth that few surpass.
So he's right inside his ear.
And in her day, she sailed majestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully she fulfilled her sailor's need. Some were overpowered by greed, and so they pilfered slow.
Yes, Crystal is here.
By bulk and go.
Mr. Charles is here.
She looked dull.
You will see him in a moment. He's going to be on the screen. He's going to give you a call after you make his way off the show.
Captain, the ship is sinking.
Tell we.
Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty. No electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The Trinidad, in her day of sailing, she was a friend to one and all. She never once ever hesitated to answer all SOS calls. And yes, well, she always did her best to help out those in distress. Now it's so sad to see she's in difficulties. Though she helped cheer, some of them cheer and sarcastically declare, Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we sit on it and perish slow? We don't know. We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa. If only there was something I could have done to restore the credibility of this beautiful vessel. Money's no problem. Now there's a lot of fingers pointing, suspicion running strong.
Oh, yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you and yours. Let's say good afternoon to the world as we reach out worldwide. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Not hearing you.
Oh.
Oh, no, you.
Hey, Mr. King, Mr. Tony, tell me if you're hearing us there. Because so far I'm seeing the broadcast showing that we are going live here.
Good evening, good afternoon.
I'd like to say good afternoon to John Ori. Because I'm hearing it back on my earset here. Good afternoon to Wendy Ann Woods, Mr. Tony King, our technical engineer. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to Crystal. Good afternoon to Crystal Joseph. As you can see, Mr. Charles is here. I say, your man,
Lee Graphic join boy, your friend. Watch his video with your friends, you know. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. Okay, all right, Crystal.
I know he's busy.
So good afternoon to each and every one on the live. Good afternoon to that's Nicola. Michelle. Oh, sorry.
Michelle Williams.
Yes. Wow. Hey, people, let me know where you're shouting at us from. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Lee. England, New York,
Yes, good
or the
afternoon.
inside. Good afternoon, Crystal. I see Crystal is saying good afternoon to Mr. Charles.
Good afternoon, Thompson.
So, yes, Crystal, you've seen him before you this afternoon. All right, he's going to make sure give you a call. As he said, he was very, very busy. So, it's the reason why you did not get on to him. Or he did not able to get on to you, I should have said.
Like the lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, good afternoon to one and all. It's nice having each and every one inside. Today we are going to actually reaching out where we discuss, where we educate, I should say. Educate each and every one.
Librafi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Charles. How are you this afternoon, sir?
Good afternoon, my brother.
Well, it's such an honor to have you here
Excellent
today.
and peaceful as usual.
Of course, of course.
By the grace of God. Well, you know, we are always here talking Tobago and
Yes, talking Tobago.
talking general because we are from the island of Tobago
Of course.
in the nation of Trinidad and Tobago.
To correct is right.
And we have to continue some of these things we have to repeat because there are new listeners and there are new people who would have come on stream.
Yes,
so
yes,
some things we'd have to repeat. So this is the island of Tobago.
We just like a technical there. Nevertheless, we're still inside. We're going.
116 square miles
Yes, yes.
and a quarter square miles. We are part of the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. There are 2 islands that form this nation.
Yes, yes.
And we are from the island of Tobago, and what the main issue in our part of the world in Tobago is that Tobago for the last 42 years or so, in fact it is 43 years this year,
Yes, yes.
have been struggling to have our
Yes.
power
Of course.
to determine how we are governed and how we develop this beautiful island of Tobago,
Yes.
the richest island in the Caribbean. And a lot of people in the world don't know that. Tobago, the richest, and I say the richest, and we can discuss that, island in the Caribbean.
Yes. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Black Eyes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
saying good afternoon to Mr. Charles there.
Good afternoon, my brother. And there are a lot of people that don't know that Tobago changed hands 32 times.
32 times.
32 times, and there were people from Europe, the European countries that were actually waging war against each other for this beautiful piece of real estate they call Tobago, and because they know what the value of this place, the riches of this place. So when I said we are the richest, some of the things I'm not going to share this evening, others sometimes we can share.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But sometimes we have to talk in a way where we educate our brothers and sisters, even in Trinidad from this style.
Yes, yes.
I indicated to you some time ago that I have been in Trinidad at several conferences, and I'm talking about this year, December 2019, January 2020, and there are a lot of people who never knew the things I shared with them quite recently.
Yes.
They did not know that Tobago is calling it for volume. It's telling you volume.
Volume.
Yeah.
All right. Are you hearing him clearly there?
Yes. Is your partner outside?
Yes.
Yes, I was making the point. Yeah, you must be getting it now. I was making the point that a lot of people did not know, even in Trinidad at this time, so we need to repeat some of these things.
Yes, yes.
That Tobago, in the nation state, this 2-island and nation state of Trinidad and Tobago, Tobago is the island that bring to the nation of Trinidad and Tobago the exclusive economic zone.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. And most of the oil and gas wealth is in Tobago space.
In Tobago space.
In the space that is called Tobago, and this is why I believe there is a lot of, I can't say reluctance, there are a lot of discussion, there are a lot of diplomatic moves, there are a lot of strategic moves that are taking place behind the scenes.
Yes, yes.
And these moves are to deny the people of Trinidad and Tobago having this information that I am sharing with you. The information is, and I think I did it before, I think I will do it again. And Dr. Williams, the first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, would have said it on the 7th of June, 1957. If you go to the Power Parliament channel and you go into our Hansard, you will be able to find the information there. The 7th of June, 1957, he made this particular statement. I'm going to paraphrase him.
Okay.
But we can quote it verbatim, but we're going to paraphrase it. He said, Tobago exchanged the neglect of British colonialism for Trinidad imperialism, corrupted by the former self-government that was introduced in Trinidad up to that time. And you remember that in 57 Trinidad was not yet fully internally self-governed.
Yes.
They become that in fully self-governed in 1961 and become independent in 1962 and then become a republic in 1976. So in 1957, when he was just chief minister, he made this statement that Tobago exchanged the neglect of British colonialism for Trinidad imperialism, corrupted by the form of self-government that was introduced in Trinidad up to that particular point in time. It was a limited amount of self-government. And he went on to say in the same statement that Tobago is paying a price for the union with Trinidad that Tobago ought never to pay. We're going to break that down in a minute.
All right.
And he finally said in the same breath and the same statement that whatever Trinidad gives to Tobago is a small mite that Trinidad must pay for this act of union, for the coming together. What Dr. Williams is saying is that Britain was the colonial power over Trinidad and also over Tobago separately. Then we joined together in 1898, 1899, as you know that.
Yes.
And we remained so until that time in 1957, almost 100 years. And he's saying that Trinidad treat us bad.
Yes, yes.
England neglected Tobago, and also Trinidad, now that we become one, neglected us just like England neglected us. That he was just saying that Tobago exchanged the neglect of Britain for the neglect of Trinidad because we come together. And when he talk about the resources, when he talk about we are paying a price for this union that we should never pay, what he was saying is, if Tobago was not part of Trinidad and Tobago politically, administratively, or otherwise, that Tobago was going to be an independent place like Jamaica or Grenada or Barbados or one of them. And we were not part of Trinidad and Tobago as a nation, though we are a separate island.
People, just permit me, we will be taking your comments in a short moment.
Yes,
I see comments coming on the screen. We will be there with you shortly.
This one point. And then we go to several things that's happening here and why things have not happened yet and so on, and what is required to be done to have these things happen. Now, what Dr. Williams was pointing out to us then was this, that if Tobago was not part of Trinidad and Tobago administratively, Tobago would have been an independent place just like them or like Grenada or Barbados.
Yes, yes.
And as a result of being independent, Trinidad was going to be locked in between Venezuela, an independent place as it is now, and Tobago, an independent territory. We're not proposing that now, we're just explaining. And that is the same thing that we did to the people in Trinidad when we had the conferences. Their eyes were opened wide and didn't recognize it.
Okay.
So what is going to happen now as you know, there is 7 miles of water between Trinidad and Venezuela.
Oh, Venezuela, right.
But because Venezuela is independent, the Lovely Sea determined that they should, the water is divided half-half, 3.5 miles for Trinidad and 3.5 miles for Venezuela, because they can't get in 12-mile territorial sea and so on. So 3.5, that's the law, and so on. As it stands now. And this is when I explain this part, that's why people could not understand how the government of Trinidad could stay there. and allow the Venezuelan government, the Guardia Nacional, to come right into Port of Spain, right in the Gulf of Paria, and take up people and carry them in Venezuela and lock them up. And it's only since I start to explain, they have crossed their 3.5 miles, so they are now into Venezuela territory. So the Venezuelans would have come into their Venezuelan territory. That's not Trinidad territory. Though it's really right there. But Venezuelan territory?
It's true, Venezuelan territory.
That's the
right on the
No,
border.
let's come to Tobago. If Tobago was independent, that's the point Dr. Williams was making, and it's quite true because you can't change the geography. It is just so, you can't change it. It still remains so. It's 22 miles of water between Tobago and Trinidad. So if we were independent, it means then that 11 miles of that water would have belonged to Trinidad and 11 to Tobago. Follow me well.
Yes, yes.
But Tobago, if it was independent, enjoy 200 miles exclusive economic zone going up to Grenada. So when they talk about the EEZ, it's Tobago, by being part of Trinidad, that bring all of this wealth to Trinidad and Tobago, because we are not independent. If we were independent, Trinidad was not going to benefit from that. They were going to be locked in between Venezuela and Trinidad. Listen, let me just make this one point. And is that open the eyes of those fellas in Trinidad? And most of them are pastors, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said to them, do you know that if you listen to this every time in the past, not until we have become responsible for Tobago in a particular way, that this information was changed.
Okay.
In 1998, I think it was, when we had the energy conference here in Ovanels.
Yes, yes.
The point is that every time they strike oil or gas,
Yes, yes.
you always used to hear, and that's what William was saying, where are these fields in relation to Trinidad? You never hear in relation to Tobago where they're located. So every time you hear we strike substantial quantity of oil or gas, they used to give in relation 45 miles on the northeast coast of Trinidad.
Yes, yes.
But now we gone to the facts now and say, but my God, if it's only 11 miles of that water belong to you, and you are now getting all this oil and gas 45 miles on the northeast coast, is in Tobago you're really getting all that? Is Tobago is a wealthy place, really?
Yes.
Tobago is a wealthy place.
Yes, it's so true.
I'm just telling you.
Yes, yes.
And that is what opened the eyes, and I said to them, we don't want to change that, you know.
Yes,
we
so
want Trinidad and Tobago to remain a nation.
Yes.
But at the same time, having that information, you all are going to treat us with greater respect. And this is what internal self-government, we never even ask for independence. We want internal self-government. And what does self-government mean simply? Government without outside interference.
Right.
So we don't want Britain to run the business. We don't want Trinidad to run the day-to-day business in Tobago. It means that the Tobago people must be able to be responsible for determining what is best for us and develop that here, like every other people all over.
Yes,
so that's what self-government means. That's what internal self-government means. We must have government without outside interference.
Right.
And that includes Trinidad interference. Now, what we have been having over the years, why nothing has changed, and why Tobago continued to suffer for the last 20-something or 20-something years without anything being done, is that Tobagonians didn't understand the point I am making now. They have been voting for parties that are national parties in Trinidad. For example, like the PNM.
Right.
The PNM is a Trinidad party. And in a self-governing environment and a self-governing context, if a party from down there contests election in Tobago, what are we actually doing is to give them back the power to continue to run Tobago the way they feel and choose.
Yes.
So the PNM party is irrelevant in Tobago, and any other party from Trinidad is irrelevant and out of context in a self-governing Tobago situation. So the way you see happening in the PNM in Tobago is mashing up. It has to mash up.
Yes.
Because they are irrelevant in Tobago, not irrelevant in Trinidad.
Exactly.
Because just remember, they are in Trinidad, the UNC is in Trinidad, they run that. But self-government means you can't come to Tobago, you are giving the people in Tobago their power to run Tobago the way the people in Tobago see fit. Once you contest that election, we are now becoming puppet of you in Trinidad. You continue to run the show in Tobago. You better we didn't answer the government at all. So this is why PNM is irrelevant in Tobago right now. And that is going to be the campaign that is going to take place just now. Finally, all sorts of legislation is being passed in the parliament. The Tobago legislation is there for a long time now, since 2016. And because of the fact that we have not been getting up in Tobago and speak with one voice, because it is PNM that is in control of Tobago now. And as you know, they are the government of Trinidad. They are giving instruction to the people here. Don't raise a matter yet. Leave it there for a little while because we fix up the matter in Trinidad. To our detriment, to Tobago's detriment. This is why we need to change that. I want to just pause there for a little while and take your comments, your concerns, and then we'll go back to explain what is actually happening now in terms of the governance of Tobago.
Right. Let's start with Lee. Lee comments here.
32 times Tobago changed hands. I do not know that at all. But now I know, of course, and there were not Caribbean governments, you know, that have been fighting. They were from the European countries. It is French, it is Spanish, it is British, it is Dutch. All of them have been fighting for Tobago because they know the strategic plus the value of Tobago.
Let's take a comment from Michelle here.
William.
Nice.
Of course. Trinity is the land of spirituality. We defend our Twin Island. Only God knows our unity, and no man shall cause divinity. Amen. Something like that.
Right, and I see you get the next comment. I see a lot of comments coming in. It was like
Moses is going to promised land, and if people get comfortable in their own way of this righteousness, all I can say, what God put together, no one. What God put together, no one can put us on.
I'd like to say good afternoon to Leanne.
God has not put this together yet.
England.
We want to make sure that we put it together properly, because right now it is skewed. Because all the institutions of governance is in one island in Trinidad. So the government will put some of those institutions in Tobago that are institutions that are life and death to the people of Tobago. So that in case there is a disaster in Trinidad, natural or man-made, and Trinidad is wiped out, God forbid, or destroyed. For example, if there's a hurricane in Trinidad or a tsunami and wipe out Trinidad, and that tsunami or hurricane did not touch Tobago, we are also gone with it, because all our institutions are down there, including all our banks. You bank your money in Tobago, and if Trinidad is wiped out, you can't get your money, you know, although you never go to Trinidad and bank it. That's all we're saying, you know. We're not breaking up, we're strengthening the nation.
Exactly. Let's take 44
miles of Black Star Liner coming in. Oh, somebody making a point. It is Star Liner.
And here she say again, so who give? Alright, so who give you the... Alright.
It is the British government, in order to save on the administrative cost of running several small territories in the Caribbean. This is why they would have linked some of the Caribbean countries together. Tobago was with Grenada once, you know. With Barbados once, you know. You didn't know that?
No.
Man, we have to get the history books and read them, man.
Aware of this one.
Yes. They were just remember, sugar failed.
Yes.
After the sugar, after they abolished slavery, as you know, they could not have been getting the slave to operate the factory on those conditions again. So they would have lost that. So it means that sugar would have gone through. And apart from that, beet sugar now started to come on stream in the European market and so on, and put competition against the cane sugar. As a result of that, most of the Caribbean countries that were doing sugar plantation went through. And the British government, rather than having a government in Tobago, because it was colonial government, as you remember, rather than having a government in Tobago, you had to pay an administration, a governor, or a lieutenant governor, a colonial secretary, and all of that stuff. What you do, you link 2 or 3 of these countries together. So you're paying one administration to run them. And that is how Tobago was linked to Trinidad.
Right.
Administratively.
Okay, understand it now.
to save the British government cost of running these separate islands and these separate administrations in the Caribbean. And all we are saying is we still want to remain friends and we want to remain Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
But you can't stay there and tell us where we must put a building in Tobago, where we must develop a sporting ground, that is what is happening right now. And that's why most of the Caribbean countries that are English speaking that were under British rule would have gone to England and would have got their self-government. You begin with that. And then some of them would have moved on to independence. Some of them are in Republican status right now. And so on. We're not trying to destroy, we're trying to strengthen it. And so on.
Let's take a comments from Lee. Again, so is Tobago still in... Yeah, yes.
Yes, that's quite true. Yes. That Michelle Williams. Yeah, we are. And if you notice right now, we don't want to say it that way.
Yeah.
But I want to just tell you right now, the Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago is from Tobago.
Yeah.
Right in Scarborough. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is from Tobago. Once the President of Trinidad and Tobago was from Tobago. So we have a lot of people that could be able to deal with these things. And in fact, it's the former President of Trinidad and Tobago, who was from Tobago, who started this move to say, we're not going to break up the nation, we're going to strengthen it. And he's the one who would have filed this motion and get the country to agree, including the Parliament to agree, that Tobago should have its internal self-government, not independence. It's internal self-government where we will determine what is best for Tobago and develop Tobago, including the protection of our environment and so on, passing laws for the good governance of this island and so on. It's so important.
Was this the comment you take from Michelle?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
so Lee wants to know, so is Tobago still right up here?
Well, what Tobago want to put the power back into its own hands, not changing hands. We still now under Trinidad rule and direction and control. And self-government only means now that power should now come to Tobago as it would have come to some of your states in America. As you know the states in America were. I know they started with about 12 or 13 of them. Wow. And now there are 50 of them. And almost each of those states have their own laws, their own thing, but they still have one president, one federal system of America. And that is why America is such a powerful nation. Because it's one of the most decentralized.
Yes, because each
state have their own little law and so on. But you still remain one United States of America. And that is what will remain, one United Trinidad and Tobago. But Tobago will have its right and its authority to fix up the day-to-day business in Tobago without having Trinidad interfere with it.
Well spoken.
That's all we say.
Yes, I think that's actually,
and that's part of the United Nations Charter to it.
Yes.
That every people have a right to their self-determination.
Yes. And I agree with, from what you now mentioned, it make it easy for everybody to understand.
But of course, and just remember, Trinidad and Tobago is a signatory to the United Nations Charter that says that, every people have a right. And when I raised it the last time, I even said, even for language, like in Canada, Quebec was granted its own autonomy, as you know.
Yes.
Because of the language, they are French.
Yes.
They're French speaking.
Let's take a comment. Somebody now send a comments there to you.
Which one?
This one down below here.
Chad Mr. Chad, what's your take on property tax? I have spoken about this issue several times, but let me just say this in brief. That property tax are important. And I'm just saying that if you do not pay your property tax, what is going to happen is that you can very well have the property taken off the books and you can lose your land. The question now is the quantum and the rate of taxation that we are against. If you notice what used to happen with regards to land and building tax, that is now in the new legislation of 2009 changed to property tax. It is the same land and building, but they put now land and building together and call it property tax. Well, listen to how it is done. When you purchase a piece of land, and we don't have the rates before us this evening, when you purchase a piece of land in Trinidad or in Tobago, based on the value of the land, it carry what we call stamp duty. Stamp duty is a government tax. And it is a high rate of tax, you know.
Okay.
So before, the price for tax for land per acre, just the land, was $10 per acre for the land. And then they will value the building, and then you pay the tax now for the building based upon the size and the things that you're operating on. But the tax for the land was $10 per acre or any part thereof, and there was a reason for that. Because you already pay the government. You didn't buy land from the government, you know. You pay the government. For example, I bought a little piece of land in Montmarre. That same piece of land I showed you?
Yes.
For the thing?
Yes.
You know how much tax I pay for that little piece of land? Because of the value? I pay the government. I didn't buy land from them.
Yes.
$57,750 was the stamp duty or the tax I pay the government for purchasing a piece of land.
Wow.
Now,
And
when
you did not purchase that land from them.
No, that is what they call stamp duty. Stamp duty is government tax for the sale of land, for the
Right.
purchase of land. But what you do find now is that's why they allow, because you pay the government a tax up front. So in order to keep the land on the books, you pay a small fee of $10 per acre or any part thereof. I could bring the rates for you.
Right.
But now, with this property tax that they high, there's a revaluation of the land, and the land rate go up so high that sometimes people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the stamp duty. And then every year now you have to pay a high rate. I don't have the document with me, but I'm going to bring them the next time that I'm coming here to show you the kind of rate you're paying for property tax. That's why none of them touch it. You remember it was there since Manning time in 2009. They lose the government on that in 2010. The PP government came inside. They play with it wrong and nobody don't know what to do with it and so on. Then this government came in and they were saying that he was supposed to be introduced. They're frightened to touch it because it is evil.
Yes.
All I am saying to the government, and the fellow asked the question, when Tobago get its self-government, if Tobago gets self-government next week, we solve that matter.
Yes.
Because we're going to go back. Even though you raise the price per acre for your land, let me say $100 rather than 10, not thousands of dollars. We can just say, okay, fine, move it from $10 to $100 for an acre of land, and leave it on the books, to keep it on the books, and then you value the buildings and so on that you would have on that land, and then you pay your percent. I think it's 3.5% or something like that for the land and for the building that you have on the land and so on. We have to do things properly, man, and sensibly.
Of course. We see plenty comments coming. Let's take Lee right here.
Whoa, that's a lot of money for that. Yes, it's worse than that. I have seen a person, because what is happening now, and that's why Tobago want to come out of this mess, you know.
Yes.
What is happening now? Long ago, your friend have a piece of land and they want to give you, and genuinely so.
Yes.
Genuinely so, but there's no, let me call it, so technically there is no deed of gift. You have to put a value on the land, and then you go to register that deed. When you go to register the deed based on the value of that property, it has to go to the valuation division, and it is the value that the valuation division put on the land you are paying the stamp duty on and the taxation on. Let me say this. I have seen a man put a value on a piece of property, he's not selling it to his son. Wait, you have to make up a deed to sell it to your son. Although you're not going to collect any money, but you have to put a value for the price. He put a value on the land, let me say, because of the location. He put $500,000, 500,000.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to pay either 20 something, whatever it is on the land. The valuation division valued the land for $1.8 million. Now he has to pay $600 and something thousand in tax.
In tax, wow.
I will bring the figures for you.
Yes,
Actual figures. You just can't run it like this, man. It's evil.
Yes.
And that's why Tobago want to get out of the mess from Trinidad, so that we could be able to regulate and treat our people the way human beings should be treated.
Just as how the United States.
That's right.
That's
right.
Different city, but one president.
Kelly Thomas, good afternoon. Oh yes, it's now evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
Let's take from Michelle, Williams here again.
So I dreamt of a new party by late Eric Williams. Yeah, a new party will arise. Yeah, there is one Tobago voice, which is the party of Tobago right now. The only party in Tobago that is a Tobago-based party, that is Tobago-led, controlled, and directed, that will be able to deal with the issues that are pressing the people of Tobago right now. Land question, the deeds and they to be sorted out, the airport situation where we're trying to remove all these people, that will be cancelled overnight. Once we get our government, we stop that.
Yes.
And now, in light of what is happening with the coronavirus,
yes.
where almost not even trade, tourism is affected all over the world because all travel is curtailed right now. We don't know how long this is going to be taking place. So it means that travel not taking place, but yet you are disrupting people's life and building another terminal building while we can just do the renovation on this one and don't affect the lives of the people. So self-government will cause us in Tobago to deal sensibly and properly with our people and cancel that entire thing. And you know who building it? People from China. I hope you know what territory they're coming from. But I'm telling you, it's China building it.
Yes.
And the people coming from China to build it. Let me try and see if we can deal with that particular issue right now. You know?
Yes, because it's there the virus coming from as well.
I'm telling you, man, listen to me, man. That is why we are saying Tobago, Lord God, we want our internal side government tomorrow.
Yes.
Fix it up past the law so that we could be able to regulate our business in Tobago. Look at what's going on at the airport. A lot of people outside the world don't know until we start to talk here, you know.
It's true.
That about this part.
It's true. It's so true.
You remember.
Yes.
Imagine the capital of Tobago is in Port of Spain.
Yes.
In the Scarborough.
But
it's a fact, you know. You have to go down to your doctor in Trinidad. You have to go down to Trinidad. The Red House is in Trinidad. We don't have one here.
It's true.
The Central Bank is in Trinidad. You want certain things, you have to go to Trinidad for it.
Yes.
No direct flight coming to Tobago to bring goods. There may be tourist boat may be coming in and so on. But to bring goods into Tobago, you have to pass through Port of Spain.
Yes.
And then it comes to Tobago. So there is no direct access of the outside world to Tobago.
Exactly.
And it's a serious point I'm making. So you need to have to go to Trinidad. So Port of Spain is the capital of Tobago. The Ministry of Finance is down there. All the headquarters of all the banks that are operating in Tobago, they are in Trinidad.
Wow, look at that.
And that's a serious point. Now, that means so that all of these things are in Trinidad as it stands now. What self-government will mean is that we will have headquarters of those things in Tobago. The insurance companies that operate in Tobago are all in Trinidad. The headquarters are all in Trinidad. Wow. Every one of them. So if something goes wrong with Trinidad, like as I say a tsunami or a hurricane, and I say God forbid 100 times.
Yes.
What is going to happen there is that the insurance companies wipe out. And you get into an accident right here in Scarborough. Right in Tobago where you live. 2 vehicles in Tobago get in an accident. You're going to report to your insurance company in Tobago. You report in Tobago, which are the agents in Tobago. Nothing can happen to that because the headquarters are in Trinidad. People don't understand what we're saying, you know.
Yes.
Look at the airport.
Yeah.
So people have to go to Trinidad for almost basic things. The doctor is down there, the lawyer down there. Because we only have one senior counsel in Tobago, all the rest are in Trinidad.
Yes.
Even Tobagonians, they are operating down there. And what is going to happen here now is that since we have to go to Trinidad, that's why they call it the sea bridge, you know. And the air bridge. But it's not a bridge.
It's not.
The sea bridge and air bridge is not a bridge, it's like an international flight. You have to go down and book on the airport to go down. You know, most of the time people sleep there, as you know.
Yes.
And listen to this. You go down, a bridge means I have gone to the outside world, I've gone to North Carolina, I've gone to a lot of places outside there, you know. And so on. I have seen how they operate, how a ferry operate. It's every hour, every half an hour, the hour. Yes. You just go down, you get your thing, and you travel. A man have a Maxi carry school children to school in Tobago.
Yes.
And he gets into an accident. The after Trinidad to collect it to come back for his mechanic to fix that thing in Tobago so that he could carry the school children tomorrow. But he can't have a passage to go down.
It's true.
He can't find a passage. And listen to me. If you book on the air bridge, on Cal, and you miss the flight, You have to pay a penalty of $50, and it's a rip-off, you know.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, it's a rip-off.
Exactly.
Because you buy a standby ticket. It's the only place in the world it's operating. It's a rip-off. The government of Trinidad and Tobago ripping off the Tobagoan with that. And that is something that government will solve. Not 2 days, the first day in office, that will be solved. Listen to what happening there. You pay if you buy your ticket to go down.
Yes.
300 is a 150 single.
Yes. Correct.
You buy your ticket to go down, but something happened that you couldn't go down. Either the place in Trinidad closed, something happened. They called to say something happened down there, we can't come. So I go in the next day.
Yes.
And you now go with your ticket. They say, well, no, you didn't go with the flight. I don't mind that, you know. I said, look, I am buying a standby ticket to travel because they don't have no room to come in. It's fully booked.
Yes.
This is the dangerous one. It's fully booked.
Yes.
So I go and buy a standby ticket. Standby means that you are going to accommodate me on your flight if you have room.
Correct.
For me.
Correct.
You don't have any room for me today. So it means then that I did not deprive you of selling a ticket to a passenger because I didn't book.
Correct.
It's a standby.
It's a standby.
When I come tomorrow, in order to travel with my standby ticket, since I didn't travel with the standby ticket yesterday, I don't pay $50 penalty. I ask somebody for what?
For what? Yes.
Rip off.
Correct.
They're ripping off the Tobago man.
Yes. It's so true.
It's not a joke. Imagine you're paying a $50 on a standby. Standby means the airline say, I am selling you this ticket.
Yeah.
If I have room on my flight, I am going to put you on.
Yes.
You have no room on the flight. So it means then that you could not put me on.
Exactly.
Now I have to come back another day. I come back with the ticket tomorrow.
And pay an addition.
You now telling me pay $50 extra.
Yeah, correct.
It's a rip-off. The world doesn't know that. That is how Trinidad is treating Tobago.
Aye. Let's take this from Lee. We have some comments after this.
That's the truth. In the New York City, it's a 52 state, but one president. Yes, that's quite
correct.
true. I would just say that.
Correct.
In fact, there are 52 states in the United States of America, you know.
Right, so
including Hawaii is one of them outside.
Right, Lee. So that was confirmed.
Yeah,
Let's take this
52.
from Miss William.
I hear you and I agree. That's madness. That's not equality for Twin Island. Oh boy, you have to correct it. And it's true. It has to be corrected.
You see what taking place.
The world does not know how Trinidad is treating Tobago, you know. And that is why you need to have your internal self-government, not independence. Yes, I want to say that 100 times. That we will determine what is best for us here. Fix up your air bridge, fix up all of that. You know, oil prices went down to $30 a barrel.
Yes.
Because of the war that is going on between Russia and Saudi Arabia and the outside there.
Yes.
There is this war going on. As a result, oil prices went down to $30 per barrel yesterday today.
30, wow.
You know, our budget for this year was predicated on the price of oil at $60 a barrel. So it's almost half. The budget is going to cut. This is going to affect every single project in Trinidad and Tobago. It's going to affect the economy. And when you link that to the coronavirus, where we would expect that since oil prices, in fact, they have a fall in production and at the same time a fall in price. So it's a double whammy. So you're not getting enough oil to sell. So even though the price go down, but you could have increased the production.
Yes.
It means then that, for example, you get 10 mangoes and you were selling them, for example, you were selling the 10 mangoes at 50 cents for one. You were getting what? 10 by 50 is $5. Right?
Yes.
You say $5. Let's assume that you now have the price of mangoes fall down. Well, you say it's $5 one? $5 one.
Yeah.
It dropped down now to $3. But you can have 50 mangoes now. How much you will have? 50 by 3 is how much? Is your price going up? So, but listen to what happened in oil prices. Oil prices now is that the production in Trinidad fall, and at the same time the price go down.
Yes,
so it's a double whammy for Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
That's the point we were making to you on the document I read it last time and say, hey, we need to pay attention to the unused potential of Tobago and Trinidad. So that when oil prices and so on go down, we could have been able to have another source of revenue, our tourism. We're talking about our quarry.
Yes.
You remember that? We're talking about our water from Bloody Bay and so on. That's what we were saying. No, it affects us. And those things are not yet developed. So Tobago right now, had we not created the problem and changed the administration in Tobago and put PNM there to just carry on their wishes in Trinidad, Tobago are now going to supplement the losses that we are making by the falling oil prices that was going to come from Tobago to go and boost up the budget in Trinidad, that you do have to lose projects and lose jobs and send home people unemployment. People are understanding. I'm only saying these things in this package.
Yes.
Very important. Our tourism gone through. With the corona thing, you can't travel. You remember cruise ship just come and they ban it? All the fellas know waiting outside to go and carry passengers with the coronavirus.
Yes, yeah.
And travel is going to be restricted. Aviation is going to be affected so badly. That the hotel industry, which is tourism, hospitality, entertainment and so on, restaurants and so on, going to be affected. The car rental people and so on in Tobago will be affected. Yes. This is a serious matter that we have to sit down and look at. I don't know what the assembly is doing. They have their own bacchanal inside there.
Actually, yes, that point that you just make, Lee, yes, it's really going up and coming down in New York as well.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
In fact, the whole stock exchange in New York would have had a complaint similar to 2008. And that is going to be is affecting the entire world.
Yes, yeah.
Because a lot of the stocks are they fall. The serious matter is a worldwide crisis, We don't know when it's going to end. And that's what we were saying since 1999. I read the document here. Hey, pay attention. Oil is a wasting asset. We don't know what could happen to it. Yeah. We do not determine the done by international demand. So we need to look at other areas where revenue can be found, in order that in case something goes wrong with those kind of stuff, that we would have been able to supplement our revenue, the loss of our revenue. We're now facing it today.
Yes.
We didn't pay attention. And we talk about water, $42.9 billion. You know what I would have done to Trinidad today? They're looking for 3. We are going to say, take this Trinidad. Take the $3 billion. Because I when the Minister of Finance just said about $3.something billion that we're going to lose in the budget. And that is only a guesstimate.
Wow, look at that. That is so much knowledge. All right, people keep sending your comments.
Why Tobago doesn't have a Red House? We are not discussing color. We want to discuss a functional institution, not a Red House. We don't want red, blue, green, or otherwise. We want a functional house that could be able to do the things to protect the people of Tobago and to prepare the plans and program for the development of Tobago.
Yes. But I must say, I remember we had this talk already right inside on GLS right here. And you had mentioned about something that I must bring back, where that after the runoff election in Tobago here, where a lot of people thought that Celestine would have been the chief secretary.
Yes.
All right, and I remember you had discussed here saying that she will not able or she cannot become the chief secretary. Can you give us a little more details on that issue also?
Well, if you notice, the law is so clear, and not even the people who are running the assembly understand that. If you notice after the runoff, you remember when Kelvin Charles would have said that he is going to go his full term.
Yes.
And his full term would have been in 2021. And then his principals come up from Trinidad, and then we hear him announce that he is going to resign as chief secretary on the 30th of April this year. Well, we come to your issue. You remember that Mrs. Davidson would have Celestine. She said Davidson Celestine. Yes. Would have said she will become a counselor.
Yes.
Well, let me deal with the first part first. I explained to you all that the law says that only an elected assemblyman, and man is not gender here, it's a gender neutral. Assemblyman is a word.
Yes.
It's not a gender business and so on, you're gender neutral. You're either a man or woman. You have to win one of the 12 seats in the THE to become an assemblyman. And it's only one of those assemblymen that could become
An assemblyman.
the chief secretary.
The chief secretary, sorry.
Had to be elected as chief secretary.
Yes, yes.
And this is one of the things that people read parts of the document and don't understand it. And I said to you that we need to look at the definition of assemblyman. And I will come to the mess that has been made with regards to the statement made by Tracy about she will become a councillor and then she will become a secretary from the 2nd of this month we're gone. She still has not become yet, you know. I believe it's tomorrow something may happen. But let's come to that. The Interpretation Act, Section 3 of the Tobago House of Assembly Act, says that assemblyman means a person referred to in Section 51A, and that is of this Act. And Section 51A says this: the assembly shall be a body corporate, and shall consist of 12 assemblymen elected at an election held in accordance with the Representation of the People's Act. Let me just pause it.
Yes.
So what is an assemblyman? One of the 12 elected.
Yes.
That's right. So, and then it says down here where the election is taking place in Section 8. In Section 8. Upon the election referred to in Section 7, the assemblymen shall elect from among their number the Chief Secretary and Deputy Chief Secretary in accordance with Section 11, and following such election, the President shall administer to the Chief Secretary and Deputy Chief Secretary, respectively, the oath of office. So it means then that is only the assemblymen, the 12 people, that can elect the Chief Secretary and the Deputy Chief Secretary.
Yes.
The councillors can't take part in that. So even when the voter no confidence, that they were talking about when I talk about it here in Section 35, and I'm going to put on the book in a short while and explain something to you based on your question. Section 35, I'm sure it is. Listen to what it says. Where the assemblymen pass a resolution declaring that they have no confidence in the Chief Secretary or the Deputy Chief Secretary, and the Chief Secretary or the Deputy Chief Secretary, as the case may be, does not within 2 days of the passing of such a resolution resign, the President shall revoke the appointment of the Chief Secretary or the Deputy Chief Secretary, as the case may be. Who is that? Where the assemblymen,
Yes.
the councillors cannot participate in a vote and no confidence in the Chief Secretary, you know. They didn't understand this, you know. And secondly, I explained to you here and to the people who are listening and viewing that Miss Davidson have been making some statements about she will become. She is reading her party constitution. But she had to remember that the assembly is governed by law.
By law, yes.
And this is the constitution of the Tobago House of Assembly. And she cannot become leader of the party of the PNM in Tobago, although that I call it is a puppet show, and announce when she is going to become a councillor. Because to become a councillor in the assembly, the person who is now the Chief Secretary, who is Kelvin Charles, has to revoke one of the councillors who are presently their appointment, or one of them would have to resign. And we hear Sister Agatha, the Secretary for Health, Councillor Agatha, would have resigned. No, she resigned. So you'd have to revoke that appointment. It is the very Kelvin Charles who would have to say, appoint Tracy.
Okay.
This is the law.
Food for thought, yeah, people.
You read what's going on?
Yes,
so she can't make an announcement that I will be.
Yes.
She can't be done. And since the 2nd, today's what? Today's the 10th.
Yeah.
Today's the 10th of March. She said she will be on the 2nd. They didn't recognize. There's a procedure. The procedure is, when you revoke the appointment of somebody, you have to go to the assembly, watch me, and make a declaration in the house of that revocation,
Yes.
that vacancy. You have to declare that so-and-so resign, or so-and-so posts have been revoked,
Yes.
and then you can't appoint the next person the same day. He said it is at the next sitting that the appointment can be made.
Yes.
So I believe that that is what they were working on now, and they must now find out what the law say. You know, man, it's a lot of blunder, you know.
Oh my.
They didn't know.
They
Did not know at all that once a post is vacant, a declaration of vacancy have to be made in the house. At the next sitting, you fill it.
Yes. Yes.
Wait.
I see. We have some comments here, and the comments are coming very quickly.
Yeah, well, we'll take them.
Um,
Moshe.
Let's take this one first from Miss William here.
We put a PNM to rule inequality, and can you tell me about the way people are gay? Coming along.
Sorry. So we think we got a comment. This
No,
one.
I don't. Well, the question is, you put PNM to rule. The PNM in Tobago is agent of the PNM in Trinidad.
Yes.
And that is contrary to self-government. And that is why they have to do the bidding of the party in Trinidad. Why the Trinidad government under Dr. Williams and Eugene Capilio would have left Trinidad and gone to England and asked for the self-government in 1959, 1960, and got it in 61, and then have the independence coming in 1962. It's the same thing Tobago is saying, we can't go to England again. Trinidad is the one that now performing the function over Tobago that England used to perform over Trinidad.
Yes.
So it's Trinidad that must pass the law to grant Tobago its self-government.
Yes. Yes.
So once you put a PNM in Tobago to run the place, all you're doing is to continue the same thing that was going on before, self-government.
Correct.
So PNM is actually obsolete in Tobago. In a self-governing context, they are obsolete.
Yes.
They have no place here. Just like when Trinidad went to England for the self-government, if the British government did pick some Trinidadians and send them up in an election in Trinidad, and people in Trinidad select them people, it would have been obsolete.
Yes.
Because they would have just been carrying out the British government or the British parliamentation or the British party instruction all the time. And that is why Tobago not moving forward.
Good afternoon to Crystal. Thank you for that information. Also to Apollonia. We'll take a nice comment from Miss Williams here again. I believe you all seeing. Yes. Miss Williams.
But of course, I'm just making the point that the problem in Tobago is
questions here.
that there are three listen to me. Politics is the key instrument of change in any country in the world. Let me say that again slowly.
Yes, I wish for you to know.
Politics is the key instrument of change.
Brajabi, good evening to you. Yes.
And it is the politics that we must fix in Tobago. But what you find in Tobago is this, that you have parties from Trinidad that are selecting Tobagonians in Tobago to contest election in Tobago on their behalf. Once they win, they are calling the shots from Trinidad and messing up the Tobago situation. That is why you require a Tobago-based political party that is also Tobago-directed and controlled. Once the people of Tobago understand this, the Tobago situation is going to be fixed. That is why creating all the disaster in Tobago. And there is only one such party that exists in Tobago today, which is the One Tobago Voice. The PNM is a national party from Trinidad, and you vote for them is to continue the colonial rule of Trinidad over Tobago. The PDP is representing the UNC in Tobago, and if you vote for them, you are continuing either UNC rule in Tobago. And that is contrary to self-government. Because self-government means government without outside interference.
Self-government. So you all understand the meaning of self-government.
That's all it means.
Very good point taken. So yes, people, so I think definitely you had been educated.
Wow.
Right? And keep your comments coming. Keep your comments coming because Mr. Charles is here and he's willing to answer any question that you would like to know what is taking place in and around your country.
Yes, it is so important that we understand this. And I want to say this. You know, Jeffrey, you are a coach.
Yes, yes.
And you know about sports.
Of course, yes.
But this particular statement is also relevant and applicable to all other areas besides sports. This statement here.
Okay.
Unless the whole team wins, nobody wins.
Nobody wins. Correct.
Let me repeat that slowly.
Yes.
Unless the whole team wins, nobody wins.
Nobody wins. Correct. Good point.
Individual records are for the history books.
Yes, yes.
So let me say that again. Unless the whole team wins, nobody wins.
Nobody wins. Yes.
Individual records are for the history books. For example, you're going out to play. Where is coaching basketball?
Basketball.
You're coaching basketball, right? Your team goes out there. One person from your team. Score. Where you go shoot one and you have to call the name.
Of course.
Score 10 or 15 goals against the other side. But the other side scored 20 goals. What happened to the 10 goals? What happened to the 10 or 15 goals that you put the one person from your team score? Huh? You lose the match.
You lose the match still.
So unless you lose the match, but the 15 goals that individual is for their record now, they will be able to have that in the history book to say, I alone score 15 goals against them, but the other side scored 25 goals, will lose the match.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with Tobago.
Yes.
One Tobago voice is the only party in Tobago that represents Team Tobago. And if that party does not win, Tobago lose the election.
Yes, yes.
Individuals may win, but Tobago will lose the election. That's what happened in Tobago for the last 20-something years, you know.
Yes, yes.
Somebody winning an election, but Tobago lose it.
Yes.
Because the air bridge remain the same, the boat situation remain the same, everything remain the same.
Yes, yes.
Because Tobago lose the match.
Exactly.
Tobago lose the fight to Trinidad.
Yes, yes.
And that is what one Tobago voice. And I think I show you the symbol already.
Yes.
This is going to be out just now. I think I show you the big one there already.
Is
That is the symbol of the party.
As you can see,
it's an electronic tablet.
This is the symbol. One Tobago voice.
Look at bigger one. Look at bigger one, Jeffrey.
Bigger sheet, yeah?
Yes. You will see.
Miss William, we will take a comment in a short while again.
Yes.
This is it, as you can see it right here. Right, so you're getting the full screen right here. Here it is. So you can see it. One Tobago voice, the full thing here. Yes, Miss William, let's take your comment.
Miss Williams, really, because mankind behind political.
That's the last comment down below here, yes.
Moshel Williams, you have to understand how the parliament works that pass laws and how the country works. It is not the prime minister, he can't do nothing. To pass a law in parliament to fix the Tobago situation requires 31 votes in the House of Representatives and 22 in the Senate. Follow me well. So even if the prime minister, they have what, 21?
Yes.
They have 21 seats in the parliament. They have to get some support from the opposition in order to pass the legislation that we're talking about in Tobago.
Yes.
So it's not the prime minister or any individual. It requires 31 votes in the House of Representatives in order to pass the Tobago thing. Whether the prime minister like it or he doesn't like it,
yes.
the prime minister can't deal with it. The legislation is before the parliament, and we expect that the government will be carrying it, and we expect that everybody will support the thing to allow Tobago to get its government. So it's not about an individual. It's about a parliament, and it's about numbers that has to pass this bill.
To pass this bill as well. Yes.
But we focus on a lot of individual. You remember Mr. Robinson who filed this motion?
Yes.
What year? Long before he became Prime Minister. Long before he became Prime Minister in 1986. But this motion was passed in Parliament in 1977.
Yes.
And he had, the NAR had what? 33-3.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
And people believed that he could have done it. And I said to them, no, I was a minister. And understand this, that he could have been passed in the lower house. But in the Senate, the votes are equal.
Yes.
And we could not get the people in the Senate to agree to pass the legislation with the number. So people don't understand how the Parliament works. It's just about no individual. I hear all of this ignorant talk a lot of places out there, that people say, but the Prime Minister from Tobago, I said the Prime Minister can't fix this.
Can't fix it, yes.
He's carrying the legislation that we can send down.
Yeah.
He's carrying it, but he has to go and debate this in the Parliament, and he has to receive support from the opposition in order to pass it to fix the Tobago thing. He can't do it.
He cannot do it.
No.
Let's take a next comments from Ms. William again. Right here.
Once change for betterment and not division. Because I love Tobago, they talk different. Well, they talk different because they don't understand, because it's context that shape meaning.
Yes.
There are a lot of ignorant talk outside there, When I say ignorant, people not knowing, they're just talking. For example, just like the question I just answered.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe the Prime Minister from Tobago said the Prime Minister could fix. And I have to explain to them, it doesn't work so.
So true.
It's votes that to pass it.
Yes.
And not everybody on his party, that he have in the Parliament, not all the people in the party can pass it.
Cannot pass it.
Even all of them agree, they can't pass
they
it.
cannot pass
It
it.
requires opposition support. So I now come to that very question. It's not division, it's strengthening. I want to repeat that slowly. It is strengthening the nation.
Yes.
Right now, the way we operate as Trinidad and Tobago, if something goes wrong with Trinidad, like a storm, like the one that passed in Katrina, that passed in the United States, and damage up Trinidad, Tobago will crumble, although the storm didn't touch Tobago. Because what we are doing, all our institutions that are life and death to Tobago, they are in Port of Spain. And if Port of Spain get wiped out, Tobago don't have anything to get. What we doing, self-government, mean that we are strengthening the nation of Trinidad and Tobago, so that in case something goes wrong with Trinidad, we can help them. Right now, if something goes wrong with Tobago, Trinidad can help, like in Hurricane Flora in 1963.
Yes.
But if something goes wrong with Trinidad, Tobago goes down and Trinidad goes down.
Yes.
So it's not about no division. No, it's about unity and strengthening.
Yeah, so true.
But you can't unite two unequal.
So true, so true. Good afternoon to Diane Roberts. Good
Oh
afternoon.
God, I love you.
Let's take Lee. That's Diane.
That's nice. So how much is that?
Tobago One Voice.
Well, we expect that all the people of Tobago understanding this message, because only now One Voice Constitution was just approved on the 1st day of December. So you have to now we are now putting a steering committee was put in place in order to put the structure of the party in place and making the members all Tobagonian members in that party. Once that happens, Tobago One Voice will make sure that we speak not only to Trinidad, but we speak to the United Nations and the world, so that they will be able to agree and obey what they signed to the United Nations to allow the people of Tobago to have their self-government, the internal self-government. That's what One Voice is going to do. And to fix the sea bridge problem, the air bridge, when you come down here, you don't have to sleep on the airport. You'll be able to come and just go on the airport and book your flight and just come right over to Tobago. Come and buy your passage and come over. The sea bridge is the same thing too. Your land question in Tobago is the same thing too. We talk about the environment in Tobago will be protected. All like that. Tobago will be able to come to be providing money to the treasury of Trinidad and Tobago to help with the many and varied problems that Trinidad has. But right now we stop.
Yes,
If they make a mistake in Trinidad, we suffer by it.
Yes, so true.
Imagine the World Bank could have complained about that in 1993, Said that all these local government bodies in Trinidad and Tobago are put in place in order to see about the things in the area. But every important decision are made by the cabinet. So if the cabinet make one decision, everything suffer in the country. America is not like that. If one state make a problem, the next state don't suffer.
Still could afford to function.
Yes.
Yes, I understand what you're saying quite well. And I think it's something very simple.
Man, never understand that.
I think that is something very easy that, it's just a simple thing. Let Tobago have their own self-government.
Yeah, it's so important.
I
And the
think-
world
I
agrees
think
on
the
that.
point is well taken.
Trinidad signed to that,
Yes.
But it's only that because we have not understood it.
Yeah.
Because we are allowing deception, allowing people from Trinidad to come here and influence you. They have their politics in Trinidad, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was in Trinidad, I would have voted for one party or the next one in Trinidad because that is their business. But when it comes to Tobago, it is Tobago has to determine these things here. We can't vote for a party that is from Trinidad.
So true. Let's take a next comment direct to you from Miss William.
What it says?
Mr. Charles.
We had other prime minister before, and they did nothing. But I don't think Miss Williams is listening to us at all. Because I just spent some time a little while ago explaining that Robinson, a Tobagonian, was a prime minister from Tobago. And he had 33 seats in the House of Representatives. Did I just explain that?
Yeah.
But she not listening. If she listened, she would have never raised that question again. And I'm not rebuking her. All I am saying is she listened to what we're saying. I have just said that.
Yes,
But remember, it requires a certain number of votes in both houses to pass it.
Yes.
The Robinson Prime Minister had enough votes in the lower house, but he couldn't pass in the Senate. Because he didn't get his support up there. So he couldn't pass. And that is why I don't want to talk about Prime Minister. Not the Prime Minister can fix it.
Yeah.
It's the Parliament that will fix it. And the Parliament consists of government and opposition.
Okay.
You see, because you said we had other Prime Minister before and they did nothing, and today we are in the position. That's my question. I just raised that and I explained why not Prime Minister. Don't focus upon Prime Minister. Prime Minister can't fix it. In fact, both of those Prime Ministers will have carried bills before the Parliament to fix it. But they have to make sure that the other parties in the Parliament agree to it to fix it. And that is why Tobago has to play that key role to make sure that they influence the others that are in the other side in order to support the legislation. That's our role.
Yes, Miss Lee Brafford. We now saw your comments there. Yes.
Yeah, Miss Lee Brafford, all we're saying is not Tobago letting anything happen.
So true.
We have a constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago. And you can't do anything in Tobago that is contrary to that constitution, or else you can't put it in practice, you'll be locked up. And that is what I'm saying. It is null and void. It can't be implemented. And all we are saying is that Tobago is coming together under one Tobago voice. And speaking with that voice, Trinidad would have to listen, because if they don't, then that matter will be taken to the United Nations, where Trinidad say, we agree that Tobago should have the self-government.
Yes.
But if we keep silent here, they would not know that Trinidad is treating us like this.
So true. Let's take a comments from
Dion Rodriguez, good day, Mr. Charles, and the host. Tobago has nothing to hold on to as an economy. We are like children every we are.
Yes.
Dion Rodriguez, you are so wrong. You don't have a clue what that means. Sorry, I have to answer you like this. You don't have a clue. If you were on earlier on, you will recognize that Tobago is the wealthy place in Trinidad and Tobago, not Trinidad. And Dr. Williams made that very clear to us on the 7th of June 1957, when he made the statement that Tobago exchanged the neglect of British imperialism for Trinidad imperialism. Tobago is paying a price for the union with Trinidad that Tobago ought never to pay. And whatever Trinidad gives to Tobago is a small mite that Trinidad must pay for this union. And what he was saying is this, that if Tobago was not part of Trinidad and Tobago as a nation, Tobago was independent like Grenada or Barbados, Trinidad would have been, just as it is now, locked in between independent Tobago and independent Venezuela. There are 7 miles of water between Venezuela and Trinidad. But because Venezuela is independent, the law of the sea determined that 3.5 miles of the water belong to Trinidad and 3.5 miles belong to Venezuela. That is why the Guardia Nacional from the Coast Guard boat from Venezuela will come right in the Gulf of area and take up people who cross the 3.5 mile boundary and lock them up because they're gone into Venezuela territory. Between Tobago and Trinidad is 22 miles. If Tobago was independent, 11 miles of that water would have been Tobago and 11 to Trinidad. And Trinidad, when they strike oil and gas, you must listen, Mr. Rodriguez. When they strike oil and gas, you will hear in relation to Tobago where the gas field is or where the oil field is. 45 miles, 50 miles, 55 miles on the northeast coast of Trinidad. And you don't know Tobago is on the northeast coast of Trinidad. But if you were independent, 11 miles would have been Trinidad. Anything outside of 11 miles would have been Tobago. So almost all the gas field and the oil field are actually in Tobago space. So don't tell me about Tobago don't have. Why do you think Tobago changed hands 32 times? Tobago changed hands 32 times not by people from the Caribbean, you know. People from Europe, Spanish, Dutch, French, British, all of them were fighting for Tobago because they know the riches of Tobago. Tobago is a rich place, not Trinidad. It is Tobago that brings the exclusive economic zone to Trinidad and Tobago. And let me just give you this one piece. You see the deep water they're building? The port that they are building in Toko. Let me take my time again.
Yes. Give us back that details.
The port that they are building in Toko, you're already talking about this for a long time.
Yes.
It's nothing to do with you, you know, and the Tobago people, you know, and the economy. The port that they are building in Toko is for the tankers, the oil tankers and the gas tankers to come to move from Trinidad to come into the Tobago fields to take the oil and the gas to sell.
Oh.
This is not an opinion. It's not an opinion.
So true.
Because you're not going to be traveling from Tobago to go to Toko in order to go to Port of Spain.
Going to Port of Spain.
That is not for you. But they can't put down the port in Tobago because they're going to open the eyes and say, oh my God, look what the field is. They're leaving from Charlottesville and go right to the field. They're looking right there.
Yes.
But when you come from Trinidad and they go out into the sea, you don't know. It's in Tobago space.
It's in Tobago space.
All the oil, the trillions of oil, trillion cubic feet of oil. How many trillion cubic feet of oil, of gas is Tobago, you know, that is located.
Yes.
All these oil companies are in Tobago. And that port in Toko is to service those our fields in Tobago to go out there to extract and to remove our stuff to go to Trinidad and to sell to the outside world. And that is what self-government will give Tobago a say as to how that is utilized.
Well, look at that. Yes.
This is a fact. I remember Amoko, one of them, when Dr. Williams was alive, when they were piping the thing to go down to the library, and the people tell him, let's put down the thing in Tobago. He called them in and tell them, we are the principals. You are the client. You do what we ask you to say to do. Because they couldn't put it. It should have been in Tobago.
Yes,
when I was chief, you remember?
Yeah.
The gas line that they were into Trinidad in Trinidad.
So true.
They were putting it down in Library.
Yes.
You remember all the food come from up in Charlottesville?
Yes.
And then we have divers from Tobago. I negotiated that all the computers that we have in school in Tobago. And while we were dealing with that, we said that we negotiated for the government that all of that going to stop. But I was able to really get a certain thing. Do you know every time they sign a contract, there's something that we call a signature bonus? When I raised at the meeting with Centrica, they were upset, you know. And I said to them, but it's Tobago, you know. When you sign for one of those blocks, it's millions of dollars that they pay for the signing, you know. That is where the monies come from in order to get all them computers in school and so on. You don't know that? Soon as you sign the contract, what we call a signing bonus or signature bonus,
yes.
Tobago losing out on all of that. Trinidad benefiting, and it's we feel. And we keep saying this. We do not want to mash up the nation. But for God in heaven said, treat us with respect. Yeah. Tell the people the truth. Let people, our children in Tobago must take thing and go out and see where the fields are, you know.
Yes.
It's right here in Tobago.
Educate.
Not in Trinidad. You want me to show you this?
Yes, Lee, we will be coming to take your comments in a short moment.
Do the gas field. This is Trinidad here. This is Tobago here. Look, all the gas fields.
Can I just show this to
Yes.
the world? People,
All the gas fields in Tobago.
there you get it. The red border,
Look,
you can
show
see
them where
it.
Tobago is. Tobago is a
Look.
little map inside of that.
You can see it
Show
right
them
here.
Trinidad.
Look,
Show
look
them where
Tobago
Trinidad
there,
is.
and look Trinidad right down here as you can
Raise
see.
it up more, let they get to
And
see it. Can
where
raise it
are
up,
you
raise it up, raise it up.
seeing? Where are you seeing it?
All the gas field is here.
And look what it say. Tobago in 1889. So you're getting all the details. If you look at the area where the gas is located,
And we don't want to break it up. I want to repeat that for Trinidadians.
see it yourself.
We don't want to break it up. Trinidadians don't know it's Tobago that bring all the wealth to this nation.
People, we have to show you again. Look the wealth here. You see the red border? That is
And the
where
gas
the
field.
gas is. All you seen it for yourself. Alright? Watch Trinidad, you see
10
it there.
trillion cubic feet of gas.
You get the full details right here.
That's what the port in Toko is all about.
So you see why the bridge is building now in
Toko
Toko to Tobago.
is not to provide no transportation
To
for
Tobago.
Tobago to go to Trinidad. Because Tobago going to Trinidad always want to get into Port of Spain if they're going to the business. Nobody has traveling for Togo. That is not for you.
Which I always had an issue with that because it come okay. I am dropping out in Toko to make how much mileage into Port of Spain. By the time I get into Port of Spain, my day done. Right? Yes, Lee Breakfast, let's take your
You say why
comment.
you're repeating. No, it's not for Lee Braffit alone because it's somebody who raised the question. Is Rodriguez I'm responding to. Because Rodriguez was not listening, Mr. Lee Braffit. So I have to repeat the answer to him.
Yes,
Because he
yes.
asked the question again.
Yes, that was just yes, Miss Braffit, that was just to educate.
Yeah. Somebody raised that question again. So I had to respond to him.
Yes.
Not for you.
Yes, because I always had a problem with that. So why is it you building a bridge from Toko to Tobago, and then we are leaving to go to Trinidad to go and shop or to
Yeah.
go and do whatever business.
Go to
By the
doctor,
time-
go to whatever to do
Exactly.
business.
By the time you dock in there, let's say you dock in there 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
By the
gotta
time you
build-
reach into Port of Spain, come on.
You have
people.
to build road, you have to do so many
Exactly.
things. It's not for you. It is not
I
for
al-
us
I-
in
I
Tobago.
was
It's to
looking at
take-
that. I was
it's
saying-
to take your gas
Yes.
from the gas fields in Tobago. Down there is where they're going to be maintaining the ships and all the tankers and everything like that. And they will be leaving from Toko straight to your gas fields outside there, back down there and to the outside world.
Well,
It's not
yes.
about you.
That is plenty knowledge there.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it is a fact because basically, when you really look at it, it really makes no sense, right? Check it, people. Check it for yourself. Trinidadians, you look at it for yourself. Tobagonians, look at it for yourself. Time you reach into Toko, if they were building that bridge from Toko, all from Tobago all the way into, let's say, Port of Spain, or let's say by which part we have the Shagaramas.
Yeah.
I think we would have understand that,
Yeah, quite true.
right? But making a bridge to Toko, I always ask myself question about it.
But you
But
know
I
what
was
the
not
answer-
educated. I was not getting the answer.
know
And
what
this
the answer-
afternoon, I think I get the answer. And it
Yeah.
makes sense.
That
makes
is
a
the
lot of
answer.
sense.
I'm not talking theory, it's not an opinion.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All right, keep your comments
Oh,
coming.
yeah, somebody asked, how can we get the parliament to agree? The question is, that is Dion. Dion, we don't have to get the parliament, you know. If the parliament disagree, there's a place that we carry them.
Yeah.
As I told you, and I want to repeat that if Trinidad fail to agree on this, they are going contrary to the oath and the bond that they take in the international and the commitment they made to the international community that Tobago will be given its international government.
Yes,
That's the United Nations decision of Trinidad and Tobago is a party to that agreement.
Yes.
That they must grant us our international government. Every people in the world determine that. And I know that they will have it done. It will be done.
It will be done.
If they don't agree, then we have to take the matter outside to the UN. then Trinidad will become a real problem case in the outside world. Because you go out and sign an international agreement and you are falling down on it.
Yes.
You don't decide to keep it.
So true.
So it is Tobago that must do what Tobago has to do. It's not the parliament in Trinidad.
Yes, yes.
But you see, we're not articulating enough, we're not saying enough because of the fact that you have PNM in Tobago and it's PNM in Trinidad.
Yes.
And if it was not the PNM in Trinidad, what was going to happen in Tobago is that thing would have been passed rather than passing all these legislation in Parliament. Look how many pieces of legislation they would have carried to the Parliament in Trinidad. Marijuana, this, that, the other, all kind of bill, and Tobago under punishment, and you wouldn't pass and allow the people to be free to develop the place and to help you in Trinidad.
Okay, yes, viewers worldwide, keep sending your comments. Let's take this next one from Miss William again.
Yeah, she said, because the island alone is beautiful and give me peace, my own tourist land, completely different from, of course, and that is why it has to be developed different from Trinidad, because one of the islands are based upon more, although most of the resources is coming from Tobago, not on the land, but in the sea around Tobago, which is oil and gas. And we're not fighting anybody for it. All we're saying is Tobago is a more peaceful place. We are more hospitality, entertainment, our culture, our tourism, our agriculture, our intellectual property and that kind of stuff. Our quarry that we're going to be doing there, our water resources and that kind of stuff in Tobago. And the kind of training is different that you require here. For that matter, I was telling people, when you train custom officers for Port of Spain, and you train immigration officers, I have seen it, I've been Minister of National Security. I have seen it happen, When you come in to the airport or the seaport, look what they're looking at. They are looking at you as somebody that come in to get a job, to extract some of our oil money and our gas money. So they don't want you to come. So the treatment of the people who are coming in is quite different from how the immigration and the custom people will treat the people who coming into a tourist island because it's the tourists who bring in the money. So while we are looking at you as coming to take and are keeping you out, we in Tobago want you to come in because you are the one bringing the dollars to us. So it's a whole different attitude that is required. And that's why one size don't fit all.
Yes. Let's take this comment from Mr. Roy.
I follow Mr. Charles, making sense of Tobago administration is Tobago problem. I'm getting something quick. Yes, that's a problem. That is why nothing happened in Tobago for the last 20 years.
All right, I now see, yes.
That is why nothing has happened. And I pointed out very slowly here before that since Robinson Murray went to the parliament and moved a motion and won the assembly for Tobago, and I became chief secretary in 1996, you notice what was happening in Tobago. Tobago has been developed in a particular way. Since the PNM took it over, which is a party from Trinidad, who have to do the bidding of the masters in Trinidad, who don't want to see Tobago develop in a particular way, nothing is added to Tobago. Nothing is added to Tobago. Is it a fact?
It is.
Is it THA that built the Deepwater Harbour to end Tobago's isolation to the outside world? We built the international airport down at Crown Point. Could anybody tell me since the PNM took over 20 years what has been done to Tobago to uplift this place? Nothing.
Permit me to just draw some points on the platform this afternoon. I have noticed that not even a bus terminus that Tobago do have. Not even an highway that we do have here.
We don't have it.
All right? And we are seeing Trinidad keep getting more and more highways. They are building more flyovers, everything.
7 lane roads.
Yes, I am asking. So basically, I'm seeing what you are saying. It really need Tobago own self-government for Tobago to make some choices of what we want to see.
Of course.
Build here, because look, for instance, I want to make a comment on the market, as everyone may probably know. Right? So far, that market has been completed, and I am watching and waiting. Right? And I'm hearing that that market is not the market, which part they have them located right now, which is down at Shore Park, is like they're going to be there right through, because like they are using this one now for the tourist industry. Because if you see the kind of work that was done there, I myself haven't seen that market is actually going back there. Because for them to keep it to that standard, have it looking clean and decent like that, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm watching it and I'm still asking what is going to be done, because when the rain falls, especially when we are into the rainy season, people, the situation that I'm seeing, there are a lot of ageable people, they are seated at these bus stops. Not at a bus terminus, located in the heart of Scarborough. We don't have a bus terminus there. Alright, so this is one of the problems that is actually affecting Tobago, basically. A lot of people want to cry out, they want to talk out, but people don't know.
But it's only said government will fix it. Remember, we spoke about that.
Of course,
and said to people that part of the plan that had been prepared for Scarborough before we left office in 2001 was that you were supposed to really have the transport hub in Scarborough. TNTech was supposed to move out to the location in Backlet. TNTech generating station or down in Cove, where you put the stuff down there.
Yeah.
So the headquarters would have been moving to Backlet, or it could have been down in Cove. We had to finally decide which one. But the areas are available, and I believe it would have been Backlet for that. No. Right there in that heart, remember the bus terminus used to be up there, no?
Yes, this is what I'm saying.
Not only the bus terminus, the transport hub. So it would have been the taxi, the conventional taxi, the maxi taxi and the bus were going to be there. In that particular area, there were TNTech and all that area they say is available, you know?
Yes.
Right there it was going to be. Upstairs that, and while you're waiting for the bus, there were going to be restaurants and so on, because once you are in a transport hub, you want water, you want food to eat, because people waiting for the transportation and so on. And then upstairs that was going to be what you call a hotel, like hostel and something for people, because nobody live in the town.
No.
What they find out in the world is that there are a lot of break-ins that take place in the capital cities, because people come into the capital to just do business and nobody live there. So when people go in there at night to do break-in and do robberies, nobody sees
nothing.
So that is why they are putting buildings back into your capital city. That was going to happen right in town there. The esplanade that they messed up down there wasn't supposed to be what you see there.
Wow.
I mean, people don't know. Look at the car parking for Scarborough.
Exactly.
That is not even done.
No, so true.
And then now we have made some of those streets before we do we have not completed the work yet. One-way street, for example, Burnett Street is one-way street. But yet there's no parking. One-way street is for the purpose of avoiding conflict in the traffic. You have traffic going this way and you have traffic coming, you have conflict in the traffic.
Yes.
So once you make a one-way, traffic will be going one way. So you will leave the other way, the other lane for parking.
Yes.
So that people will park up in front of those buildings, the shopping buildings and so on, to go and do their shopping. We closed downtown, you know. All our business has gone down to Kenabonagod.
Yes.
They have gone down there. Because of the fact that there's no parking in town.
So true.
We shut down Scarborough.
Well, I had to say thanks to Mr. Tam. I see some...
Yeah.
Yes,
the Portmore. What is the only thing that take out some kind of trouble out of here?
So tell me, Mr. Charles, what do you think about a highway? Actually, when I say a highway, because we do not have a highway here. I was told about that by a licensed officer.
Yeah, I heard that. Once,
right? So basically, what do you think about a highway? Because when you watch the traffic, especially in the morning, heading to work, 2 hours from wherever destination to go into the country, coming from Compoint, coming from Buku, wherever, I'm seeing where there's a lot of traffic piled up on the main road. So it's a carriage lane that we do have here in Tobago. Every other country you've been to, you actually seen a highway where it's 2 lane or 3 lane, right? In Tobago, we don't have that here. All we have is just 1 lane. What do you think about a highway in Tobago?
Well, it's not a question about what we think. I always say to people, in the most humble way, that it is land use. It is not whether you are highway, parkway, or
right.
It is land use that cause traffic problem. No road.
Yes.
Let me say that slowly again and explain it.
Yes.
It is land use. So it is the planning of the utilization of your land that creates the problem. For example, if you take all of your government buildings that people have to go to access services and put them in town, all traffic will go inside it. You have to have roads to deal with that, not so?
Yes, correct.
So that is the planning as to how you use the land. That if you build a school in an area, you are 800 children,
Correct.
cars and vehicles would have to go there. That is why the planning of your country is so important.
Yes.
So you are able to filter and divert the traffic to areas where you want it to go by putting those things in those areas.
true.
You can't put everything. For example, like the Inland Revenue,
Yes, yes.
the Victor Bruce complex.
Complex, yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be in town, you know.
So true.
That was supposed to be going. You see where Warner putting up those buildings in Bacolede?
Yeah.
That piece of property that was supposed to be the financial complex.
Out of the town.
Me tell you, the bus stop, the transport hub was supposed to be in that whole area.
Yes.
Where TNTech and all of them there.
Yes.
So you put that inside it, and you have no parking. And not only that, the limited parking that you have in the facilities. Just remember, people coming, business people who are busy people, coming to do, they pay the taxes, they pay the health surcharge, they pay all kind of things. You have to come in. There is no parking in the town. TNTech is next door.
Yeah.
You come to pay your TNTech bill and so there is no parking,
No parking
in the town.
Yes,
No
so true,
way.
so true.
And creating a real problem.
Yes.
Outside them, you are going to be adequate park. And the limited parking that they have is the staff that take it up.
Yes.
Nothing for the nothing for the clients. Nothing for the people who come in to pay the taxes, to pay the salaries.
To pay the salary. Yes.
I mean,
So
we just
correct.
have to. This place I want to change over, right?
Yes, yes.
The whole thing has to be revamped.
It have to be. It have to be. And I think your point is well taken because basically it's what we are seeing. We are actually seeing it. I don't think that people is so blind or pretending to be so blind anymore. Come on, people. We are seeing it. We are seeing it. All right. We need to see.
The honor, you can say now we get in the picture.
Yes.
If Tobago does not win and is only one team, that is Tobago, that is the one Tobago Voices Tobago team.
Yeah.
The other two teams that are in Tobago are not Tobago teams, they are Trinidad teams that come here to play. If you vote for them, Tobago lose the match. Unless the whole team win, no one wins.
Yeah.
In the vid, I remember I told Orville that in 2013, what use is your 12 seats? Remember they won 12 seats in 2013?
Yes, yes.
What use are your 12 seats to the people at Tobago? And he couldn't answer. Which one? This one too, yeah?
Yes, let's continue, sorry.
What use are your 12 seats? He couldn't answer and I said, hey, it is likened to a football match between Scarborough and Canaan Bonaccord. One man in Scarborough scored 12 goals against Canaan Bonaccord.
Yes.
But Canaan Bonaccord team scored 14 goals. Could you tell me what use is the 12 goals that the man in Scarborough scored? And I said, no use because Canaan Bonaccord carry all the prices down to Canaan because they win the match.
Because at the end of the day.
But the individual 12 goals that the fella in Scarborough scored is for his personal record. You could tell the children.
Yes.
That go down in the history books.
So
But Tobago lose the match.
So true.
Scarborough lose the match.
Yes.
And that is the same thing happening to Tobago. PNM may win or PDP may win, but Tobago lose the match. Because Team Tobago lose the match. You didn't vote for Team Tobago.
To Team Tobago. So true. Yeah. So true. Well said.
That is it. In every cricket match, in every sporting arena, that is the rule. Everybody know that. That is why they tell you, hey, no man, you can't pay for yourself. When India play Australia, you can't say the captain Kohli lose the match. It's India that lose.
Yes, exactly.
And Australia win.
Exactly.
One man in Australia one man in India could score 400 runs. But if Australia score more runs, it win the match.
Exactly.
India will cry.
Exactly.
And that is the problem that we are facing in Tobago. The team, Tobago losing the match to Trinidad. Because we continue to focus on individual scores.
Yes.
Spoken about Ho Choi and Duke and Kelvin and Jack or Chrislin. If you continue down that road, Tobago will lose every match. Somebody going to win and become somebody in Tobago called a chief or whatever you call him. And they will be there enjoying, and Tobago can't get no plane. They can't get a land business fixed. They can't get the air bridge fixed. They can't get no boat coming here with no goods. The hotel industry closed down because we lose the match.
Yes.
But if you win the match, you will be able to have the power to fix up all of these things. And everybody in Tobago benefit.
So true.
Man, I love to educate our people.
Of course.
I love the questions, man. People must raise them, man.
Yes, and
raise the
and
questions.
I see definitely where, as you educate, I see some people
following
actually
you know,
come.
making sense.
Yes.
But you have to study this thing. People used to think about, oh God, the Prime Minister coming from Tobago. I say, it's not the Prime Minister. Prime Minister can't change that. It's a Parliament, and Parliament work with votes.
Good afternoon to Davis Jones out there in Labray. Good afternoon to you. And Adina, good afternoon as well.
Adina? Oh yes, Adina. Adina Ashtel Tate. Join.
Yes.
Thank you, welcome.
So basically, this is what we are talking about.
Yes, so let's come back to what's happening. The whole of Tobago shut down.
Exactly.
The whole health sector shut down.
So true.
And I'm just saying, because of the fact that Tobago is not in charge of Tobago business. As you would recognize what happened, that the Prime Minister and the whole team come from Trinidad, tell Charles whatever arrangement they make for Charles to resign.
Yes.
And then Chelsea is going to become whatever she would have become a councillor. And you know, up to yesterday, somebody tell me that, Mr. Charles, you are the only one who tell us this thing, you know.
Yes.
That Tracy cannot become chief secretary.
Yeah, you actually spoke
people
it.
told me that they went and vote for Tracy, you know, because they wanted to get rid of Charles.
Yes.
And they expected that Tracy was going to become the chief secretary.
Become the secretary,
I said, no,
yes.
It doesn't work like that. You have to understand. Law is the tool for the implementation of government policy. Law is the tool for the implementation of public policy or government policy. That's why a lot of people go to Parliament. A lot of politicians and political parties and individuals promise people outside here, when I go in there, I'm going to do X for you. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. When they go inside there, sometimes they're genuine, you know.
Yes.
But they lie to you.
Yeah.
Genuine in the sense that they really mean what they say, that they promise to do that. But they know that they're lying to you, you know, they're deceptive.
Yes.
And knowing by, hey, if I go in there and we didn't have the majority, they didn't tell you all the truth, you know.
No.
We wouldn't be able to do it because there's no law to deal with that. We have to pass a law. And if the law didn't pass, we can't do it.
We can't win it. So true.
Nobody tells you that.
Nobody. Is that so true? That is so true.
You see that happen now? Because in the 2017 election, 2015, we were saying to people, do not vote in a way to make any party government or opposition. And people couldn't understand that. They think you were talking far-fetched. I say, hey, keep your 2 seats with the Tobago party.
Yes.
If you vote in the party to put for either the government party, the one going to become government or opposition, you don't know which one going to win.
So
but you're voting for either one.
So true.
One going to become government, one going to become opposition.
Yes.
What you did by your vote is to create an enemy in the parliament. And you would have to go to that enemy to get some vote in order to fix up the Tobago business. People think I was crazy. Until the Prime Minister, Rowley, came to address the Assembly and says, we want to give you a self-government, but we don't have the amount of votes. I was there, you know.
Yeah. So the same thing that you said then.
And it's on tape all over the media. They have it.
He actually came back to
and then we'd have to really prepare thing and go to the Joint Select Committee and then go to Parliament. And so the media called me. And then I asked them, but wait, you all were listening to anything that I was saying? They said yes. We heard you saying that. And it's true.
Yes.
We fool people. We deceive people. We lie to people. And I always tell people, when you go to people, tell them the truth.
Yeah. So true.
The moment you are looking about yourself and looking to get votes, you're going to lie to people.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody tell you something is not true, but because you don't want to fall out with them or you want them to have a different view of you, you leave them with their ignorance and you leave them to die in their ignorance. You see me, I correct it and tell you, hey, this is where you're saying that, although it's me you come to support,
Yeah.
where you're saying you're not right.
Not right, yes.
I will
correct.
tell you. Because I'm not looking for any support.
Exactly.
I want you to support yourself, support Tobago, so you could come out, you could be freed, so that you could be empowered. Nobody in Tobago should be hungry.
So true. Nice point taken.
Nobody should be hungry in Tobago. Wow.
And I like the point when you make it that
Chantel S. Melville joined.
Yes, Miss Melvin, good night to you, Chantal
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Eh,
Yeah, I like to educate.
So true. And I like how you put that over. You cannot lie to educate.
No,
All right? And
because
that's
it's only the truth that will set you free.
So true.
Deception and lies is what keep you in bondage. That keep you in bondage. Because when you operate on that, you can't get no truth, you can't be free.
That is so nice to know, Lee. Yes, and I think Mr. Charles would agree.
She said that's the truth, Mr. Charles.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
so
it is true. You just cannot lie to people.
You just cannot.
But because of the fact that you want their vote, you allow people to go down online and you deceive them.
Exactly.
That is why a lot of young people in the country and a lot of people probably will say, you see them politicians, me want to hear nothing to them, they're too liars, and they too this and they too that. But we encourage the foolishness.
To Crystal, good night to you. Crystal Joseph, good night to you. That's the lady who you're supposed to get in contact with. Good afternoon to Miss Sandy as well.
Oh.
So you know, pop in there, good afternoon.
Yeah.
This is where we educate. This is the educate channel. This is where we
And we have to
educate.
spend some time
Yes.
to talk, well, it's to the world, but we're talking to the Trinidad population.
Trinidad.
As I tell you, a lot of people in Trinidad did not even know what I share this evening.
So true.
That it is not Tobago begging Trinidad. It's Trinidad that extracting Tobago resources and billing Trinidad to the detriment of Tobago. And that's why I quote Dr. Williams' statement in 57.
Yes, yes.
And it's
yes.
only now when you start to show them that if Tobago was not part of Trinidad and Tobago administratively, Tobago would have been independent like Grenada or Antigua and so on. It's only now they start to see it though.
Yes.
And just like how Venezuela is independent, and you have to share the water between Venezuela and Trinidad, 3.5 miles, and the Trinidad can't go over the 3.5 miles. Between Tobago and Trinidad is what? 22 miles, so 11 would have been Trinidad, and 11 hours. But it's Tobago that bring the exclusive economic zone 200 miles of resources to Trinidad and Tobago. It would have been Tobago. So when Trinidad have been saying Tobago only coming here to get this and we getting that, it is our resources that you're taking all the time, and we're not saying give us back. All we say, no is ours, treat us with some respect.
Yes.
So that when Tobago gets a government, we will sit down and discuss how we going to utilize it, because we have been together for so long.
Of course.
Because we are people from Tobago, my sisters and brothers living in Trinidad.
Yes, of course.
We are living together too long.
Yes.
Every time people hear self government, think you're talking about secession and you're breaking up. This is craziness.
So true, so true. That's so true. And this is
Tobago is a rich place.
Yes.
Dr. Williams say that.
Yes.
And it's
But-
true,
but we
it's
just
there.
we just prove it on the screen. We just have proven
You
it.
see that thing that I just told you there a
Yes.
little while ago about deporting Toko?
Yes.
I talking to somebody and they say, oh my God, it's only now this thing makes sense to me.
Yes.
Because they were wondering what kind of nonsense is this? What people not going in Toko in order to go into Port of Spain?
Spain.
The same thing you were saying.
Yes, exactly.
Why don't tell you the reason?
Yes, and I
It's to
myself-
travel to the oil fields in Tobago and the gas fields.
And I believe it because basically
It's not a theory.
I was asking,
know.
I was asking myself the question, why do we have to actually drop out in Toko and then to travel to
That is not for you.
to Port of Spain?
It's not
That
for
is
you.
not for
It's
people.
not for you, it's for your gas and your oil. Because
Point
it's out,
well
there,
taken.
it's out there they're drilling now, it's out there
Yes.
they're extracting all of that now.
Yes.
And in order to service those platforms and to collect it, it's out there, the ship will be moving from Toko to out Charlottesville, Toko to outside in Hope, Toko to in Tobago, and move. So you're not seeing any movement from Tobago.
Exactly.
So they keep deceiving you.
Good afternoon to Sharon. Hey, let's take our comments from Lee Breffen here once again. Oh Lord, the last one down below there.
It's never too late to learn things on what you are talking about, Mr. Jack. No, it's never too late.
Could never be.
You
Good
can't-
afternoon to Cornwall George as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's never too late to learn, you know.
Never too late.
Education begins at the cradle and ends at the grave.
I like that too. Say, can you repeat that statement?
I said education begins at the cradle and ends at the grave. So it's never too late to learn.
So true, so true.
And I always tell people that
That's
truth is eternal, knowledge is changeable.
Oh yes.
Because before today, that person who made that comment, they would have known something, and that was limited.
Yes.
Now they have additional knowledge, which is additional information.
Yes.
The knowledge changed, not
yes,
so?
Of course.
So knowledge increase because it can change.
Of course,
But truth don't change, it's eternal.
It is internal.
Eternal,
Yeah,
it can't change.
Yes. Point well taken, I must say. It is such a
I love people, you know. That's all I do. Because they are my brothers and sisters, and I don't like to see us group in the dark.
And I like how you're educating them. I like how you are educating them.
And this is why I love people to ask me all sorts of questions. All kind of questions, no matter what it is. Like somebody asked me about the land tax.
Yes.
You notice what I did about land tax this evening. And I could spend some time and explain a little more detail. A lot of people did not know that when they say stamp duty is government tax for the purchase of land.
Yeah.
It's government tax for the purchase of land. And if I give the raise, it's thousands of dollars.
Yes.
But why do you pay the government thousands of dollars before you even buy anything from them as a tax? And then they go and pay every year annually. The property tax you have to pay so much again, thousands of dollars again. It's wrong. That is why the original people of this place said, no, you pay your tax up front. So in order to keep it on the book, just pay $10.
Just pay $10.
$10 per acre or any part thereof. This the government and them now trying to extract more money from you every year.
Wow.
As I told you, the piece I pay up there is $57,750 in stamp duty I pay. And now you want to tell me to pay thousands of dollars to keep it on the books?
Wow.
It's wrong.
Wow. It's really wrong.
And that's why I tell the person that property tax. Because government always used to say, everywhere you go, people just pay property tax. Why you don't want to pay property tax? I said, no, the people are not saying they don't want to pay the property tax. They say it's too exorbitant.
Yes. So true.
It is a punishing tax.
Wow.
It's regressive. It's punishing.
Yes.
I pay you, the government, my money up front just to buy the land.
Yeah.
And
you didn't pay all of that for land. Even such.
Yeah,
you're paying
$80,000. And then $850,000 is $57,750 I pay as tax on it.
Yeah.
The piece of place it cost me $850,000. So the tax on that, the stamp duty on that was $57,750. That is a piece of land.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I pay that on that. Then the government now revising the tax, revising the land tax, so that I just pay that now for this land. And then every year now you want me to pay a couple $1,000 for it.
Wow.
And it's wrong. When I should have been just paying $10 to keep it on the book. And if I build a property on it, of course I have to pay for the building. So that's why before it used to be land and building tax. The land was $10 per acre or any part thereof, and then you value the building and you pay the tax on the building. So land and building. You make it one property tax now. And then still, although it's one property tax, you have to pay for the land.
Yes, wow. So people always see the kind of situation.
Self-government. And one Tobago voice will change that for the Tobagonian overnight. And I'm not asking you.
Wow.
That's not theory.
Let's take Lee comment there, so you will be paying
that tax. Yes.
Yeah.
And listen to me. Oh boy, I love Lee. I love Lee question. Listen to this. And the new law, the Property Tax Act of 2009 says that if you can't even pay this tax after a particular time, the land is forfeited to the state.
Yes. So you see definitely.
You see, because they said that they're going to waive.
Yes,
they're going to waive it for the senior citizens, remember?
Yes.
But when they say waive, they're not removing it, you know.
So true.
So when you die, for example, the senior citizen will not be paying the tax.
Right.
But when you die, that tax becomes due and payable to your estate. So the person who is now going to get over the estate now, let's assume that that person have not been paying taxes because of the age and so on for say 20 years. And the tax that built up on that particular land there is $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for that estate there because of tax.
So yes.
that now become payable, and
Yeah.
you the man who come in to get that piece of land and to pay that.
I don't pay that.
I mean, it's so wicked, man.
Oh Lord, I
That's
see
the
Lee.
law.
I see Lisa to say she love you too.
Oh Lord, I tell you. But a lot of people in Tobago and Trinidad do not know this.
So true.
They never read the laws. That is what it says. This is why. When they examine it, both the PP government, they didn't do anything about
They
it.
didn't do anything, yeah.
And then this government go there, they have one more. This is here the last year. They try to do something about it, but they say they were going to bring it on board and blah, blah. But they
Yes.
recognize the trouble with it because it's too much.
Yes,
But I think they could
yes.
solve it, Antigua solved their own land problem, Grenada
Yes,
solved them,
solve
everybody. But why we should do that?
So
And the
true.
Tobagonian going to be paid more than the Trinidadian.
You see?
Let me explain to you why. Most of the people, a lot of people in Trinidad live in apartment building. So it's only the landlord, the owner going to be paying those taxes.
Yes.
You
yes.
paying rent.
You just paying a rent.
Uh-huh. That's why I mean nothing to them.
Yeah.
But almost every single household in Tobago own land.
Yeah.
And that's the job. So every household in Tobago will be affected by it. Not every household in Trinidad. Because some of them are renters in apartment building in Trinidad. That
Yes.
do affect them. And that is why we should fix our business in Tobago different from how they do their business in Trinidad.
Yes, yes. So don't forget, people, every Tuesday
Wow.
afternoon from 5:30 to 7:30.
Yeah, we have about 5 more minutes, but
Yeah, we are here with Mr. Charles. Send your comments.
Yeah.
He's here to answer your question, whatever your questions are. He will
yeah, and
answer.
we will deal with so many other issues when we come up. We can be dealing with the environment, we can deal with the breakthrough factory, we can deal with the kind of resources somebody would have raised that, the
Yes.
breakthrough factory that we are going to be putting up inside the park that them fella allowed to rotten down in Cove
Yes.
when you do the election. That was going to be, we are going to be exporting out of Tobago 40 containers of breakthrough to the United States every week.
Wow.
That's why we were developing the Deepwater Harbor inside the park. That
Right.
them fella now shipping out aggregate and so on. So the aggregate was going to be shipping out there for Trinidad and the outside world. We were going to sell it through there. And it is going to be the same place that the breakthrough, the ships that come in for the breakthrough were going to come into South Park because there is where the factory is going to be.
Yeah.
And taking 40 containers of breakthrough out into the United States every single week that was going to be produced here. Listen to this. When the ship coming back, the 40 containers were not going to be coming back to Tobago empty.
Okay.
That's what we were doing in Study Park. We are opening up international trade between Tobago and the outside world. And then when that come down, Study Park was going to be an area for your break bulking. Latin America, whether it's Venezuela, Brazil, all of them were going to be coming to Tobago rather than going to Miami for the goods. So it's warehousing, it's custom brokerage, it's all Tobago, and we are hungry people in Tobago, We are unemployed people here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Rather than going down to Trinidad. Trinidad is the most southerly of the Caribbean islands that begin from the America, the archipelago. Beginning from Bahamas, right down to Venezuela, Trinidad is the last one. And you know that? Resting on almost on Caracas.
Yes.
So every single ship that come with goods from North America, Canada, England, coming to the Caribbean, must pass through Tobago first before you go to Trinidad. So our goods will pass here and go down into Trinidad into somebody's warehouse, unload it down there, they put a mark up on it, put it back on the ferry. That's why the price of goods in Tobago so expensive.
Expensive.
More than
Yes,
Trinidad.
yes, yes, yes.
Self-government will solve that tomorrow.
And this is why I have seen that one of the ministers has used a term saying Tobagonian wanted nothing because all they do up there is run goat and
He's a
run
minister,
crab.
no? He was the Mahasabha man.
The Mahasabha man, yes, sorry.
But God would have carried him in another place. You know he's dead.
He's dead now? Well, look at that.
Sad Maharaj dead.
Well,
And
after
buried a
speaking
long
so,
time. Yeah,
after
man.
speaking out about Tobago like that,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Well, sorry I did not know about that. I would have attended this funeral from Tobago.
Thank you, Miss Libra. She said she learned a lot from you.
Yes, yes.
But it's true. That's my job,
Yes.
I educate my people here because education is the only tool to liberation,
So true. So true. So true. So
Yeah,
permit me. He was not a minister, but
What he was a minister of religion, you know. He was the Mahasabha, the
the
Hindu
Mahasabha.
people,
Yes.
big man, Secretary General.
I see Miss Crystal. That's the lady that you're supposed to interact with.
Yes.
Take her comments there.
We should have more educational broadcasting like these from Jelly. This is something you should look at in the near future.
Thank you.
Tell her thanks very much. And if I the lady,
That's the lady.
and I want to just tell her, I was just explaining to Mr. Murray this evening before we start this program that I believe this lady must believe maybe I don't want to talk to her. But last week,
Last week it was
we had
great.
3 major funerals and they were all 10 o'clock.
Wow.
2 of those days are tied up in court.
Yes.
And I
Make
said,
sure
my
get
God,
her.
I should call back this lady and give her, and I can't do it until maybe either tomorrow or the next day.
Yes.
Tied up.
Yes, Crystal. So you understand.
And I
what
said,
they-
Lord God, nobody will understand. You remember I told you?
Yeah, you
I
already
told you
told
I
me
will
that,
just
didn't you?
call the lady and
Yes.
just say to ma'am, you will not understand the depth of what I
Yes,
said,
you really
but
put
I
it-
am calling you. No.
Yes.
She wouldn't understand.
Yes.
Because
But she
people-
will understand you. think
I
she will
believe so.
understand.
I
Yes,
believe
she
so.
will understand.
That you know that you are tied up like this.
Yes.
Imagine morning till night.
Yes.
And the other things you have to do during the course of the day.
Yes.
I'm traveling on the road and I said, Lord God, this lady sent a
voice
voice message to me.
Yes.
I played the voice message and I wouldn't call it like after 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock.
Yes,
and I
yes.
said, Lord God, then I called and then she said, as I said before, and he's now reading the first one, you know. And I said, oh God, I have to call this lady because I don't treat people like that, you know.
I see she don't send back a comment. She laugh at what you just
Yeah,
said.
but it's true. It's the truth.
She laugh. I know. That
It's the
you
truth.
know.
Yeah, because I said that. Remember, I said that I would have to call this lady.
Yes.
Yeah, and explain to you, but she would not even. I believe she would, but she would not even understand what I said. How could one man be so busy?
Yes.
You remember we had this Tobago thing going on,
Yes.
plus the 3 funerals, you know.
Yes.
You remember the boy there who drowned in Blackhawk here?
Yes, so true.
Robinson.
Yes.
Then we have my good friend the Wasserman, and all them is 10 o'clock, you know. And when they
Yes.
go 10 o'clock in the morning, it's quite 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm now going to do my day's work. And I said, Lord God, look at this 3 funerals in the same week.
Yes.
And they're all related to me.
Yes. Well, I think Crystal do understand because some of the
I
comments
go
that she
call
now
her.
send there again.
Yeah, I will call her.
Yes.
I will make sure I call her and I do. Well, Mr. Murray, I'm sure you would have told her, Mr. Charles, that man,
Yes,
he
I
can call you.
Yes, and
I do
Crystal,
play
I
games
think
with
that you
people.
could vow for that I had told you already that he
I don't
will
know
give
if
you
you-
a call, it's just that he's a little busy.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes I want to know, if not God, I don't know sometimes how I make a day, you know.
Yes,
Like
yes.
today, I come out in court, you know, 11 o'clock. Oh, I mean, you said this. People, we have one magistrate in Tobago today. You know.
One magistrate,
Let me
you say?
say this before we close off at 7:30.
Yeah.
There's one magistrate in the 3 courts in Tobago today.
My
That is how Tobagonians suffer, you know.
Wow.
The magistrate from the 3rd court came to the 1st court and tried cases.
Wow.
Well, you know, she would have just called them,
Yes,
hear what they had to say, blah, blah, because she's a magistrate, and put them up. She finished around 11 o'clock.
Wow.
She now going to the 2nd court to take the 2nd court matter because the 2nd court magistrate not here. Wait. I don't know what time she finished because I left the 1st court after 11 o'clock. And then she had to go in her own court now, which is the 3rd court to decide cases.
Oh my Lord.
I mean, how could you get justice like that? It's a tired person, man.
Yes. And I just one person doing that all
Because what happened?
Yes.
The magistrate and they can't get a call from Trinidad.
Trinidad, yes.
Some of them are part-hold matter in Trinidad. They have to go down and try them cases. Oh God, Tobago is a guinea pig. We're really suffering you. When we get we self-government in Tobago, those are
Exactly.
things that we will sort out here.
Exactly.
In fact, that there are some of the people who are on remand,
I think we
not
really need
sentenced, you know.
Yeah.
They are on remand
Yeah.
for 6 or 7 months. One of the lawyers get up today and say his client was in Trinidad, couldn't come up to cases in Tobago
Wow.
because you know, the boat situation for 7 months the boat couldn't travel
Yes,
to bring
yes,
people
yes,
into
yes.
Tobago, the TNT Spirit. 7 months in Trinidad.
Wow.
First time he come to have his matter heard. Just in remand in Trinidad. And he may very well be an innocent man.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we will make sure that overnight that
Yes.
a facility is built in Tobago
Yes, we need
while
that
we
one
are
self-government.
training
Yes.
our people, our young men and women, that there is another way beside crime. If you fix the households in Trinidad and Tobago, you fix the country's problem. Because every single institution in this country come from Trinidad household. Not so?
Yes.
All the people that working in the Ministry of National Security, in the hospital, in the bank, wherever they work, in custom, they come from household in Trinidad. Yes. And if you teach the household to be godly people, to be people of integrity, when they go to their workplaces, they will carry that with them. So the country problem will be fixed. All the crime we have in the country is to fix the household in the country. And when you fix that, you fix the country and fix the institution in the country. That's what self-government will allow us, providing the leadership in Tobago, to do to our people in Tobago. Not to just lock up people. And the more you lock up, you're not dealing with the real cause of the problem. And I pointed out finally that if you have trees growing on a spot, and you don't want any more plants to grow up there, you can't just keep cutting down the trees, because more trees will grow. What do you do to stop the trees from growing? Is to remove the condition of growth.
Yes.
The things that cause things to grow, remove it from the soil and nothing will grow.
Point well taken.
And we're going to close off on that, Brother Murray.
Right.
It was just a pleasure chatting with your people today online.
Yes.
And I am going to be back here. Let them come with all the questions early. Even though I didn't say anything, they must come and raise questions that they may have picked up from this week and next week. And then we continue to educate our people towards their own liberation and empowerment and enrichment.
So to Crystal and to Lee, everyone out there, remember to share up the page, invite a friend, let them know. All right, every Tuesday afternoon, locked in, because here what happened, we're going to be educating you. Whatever the topic is, don't matter which country, we are here to answer your question. Wherever country, we are here to answer your question. All right, so don't forget, every Tuesday afternoon, right here with Mr. Charles, bring all your questions, we are here to answer them. All right, so on the behalf of myself and Mr. Charles, do have a wonderful and productive night. And don't forget, we are here every Tuesday afternoon from 5:30 till 7:30.
The Trinidad, a luxury liner, sailing the Caribbean Sea with an old captain named Eric Williams. But yes, sail smooth and free. But sadly, Eric Williams passed away. The ship hit rough water that day. Someone turned the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I sail a ball. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa. The Trinidad, oh, she was a beauty with wealth that few surpassed. And in her day, she sailed majestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully, she fulfilled her sailor's need. Some were overpowered by greed, and so they pilfered slow. Some took by bulk and go. Now she looked dull, she's at a lull. She could barely sit on her hull. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough, oh yes. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lady Trinidad, in her day of sailing, she was a friend to one and all. She never once ever hesitated to answer all SOS calls. And yes, well, she always did her best to help out those in distress. Now it's so sad to see she's in difficulties. Though she helped cheer, some of them cheer and sarcastically declare, Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we sit on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa. If only there was something I could have done to restore the credibility of this beautiful vessel. Money's no problem. Now there's a lot of fingers pointing, suspicion running strong. Who's to be blamed for all her failures? Who's to be blamed?
Good afternoon to Nicola Sweet Lips. We now make our way out.
Now please remember, I'm warning you. For 30 years she had the same crew who hold the keys to her fault. So we know who's at fault. Now it's up to you, it's up to me to make her worthy to go back to sea. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me, we don't know, we don't know. You
As we make our way out,
we don't know.
don't forget to tune in every Tuesday as we make our way out of the GLS.
Oh gosh, we don't know.